Welcome. This is episode 3 of the combination of Adjust My Crowns and Convos Create Change, where we present is called Control the Culture. This is episode 3. Tonight's episode will be called Freedom Ain't Free. So I have a in-depth conversation about Black economics and the power structure, what we have going on in our economy. Because I feel like at this point where we are, a lot of people, well, not even a lot of people, most people understand it, but Black people don't understand our power of the Black dollar. And I know I have a special guest in the back, and I want to get her to come before she has to leave as we get started. Okay, cool. But anyway, this is live, so this shit gonna happen like that, right? This is a 420 friendly environment. We have drinks in the back. We have some of everything going on. So again, we just want to get started. We're talking about finances in our Black community. I'm an activist. So as an activist, I think it's important. Can y'all hear me if I talk like this? Okay, or do I need to use a mic? Is it okay? I'm just checking, because I'm trying to see what my. Yeah, I just want y'all to be able to hear me so we can have a conversation. And if we can have a conversation, then I won't have to pass the mic around. But it'll be picked up really, really good on our YouTube channel this way as well. But the importance of understanding Black economics is understanding how everything works with politics and criminal justice. As an activist, we've been able to boycott, we've been able to shut down businesses because nothing moves without the power of the Black dollar. The Black dollar is our power. And if we understand our financial literacy and how much power we have, we become unstoppable. For example purposes, I was able to participate in a 66-day boycott of an Exxon gas station. Reason being, the gas station disrespected a Black person, and the person went up there and we had a conversation about it. They decided to be even more disrespectful, so they weren't engaging how we want to engage. And usually, when we have all these racial situations take place, we have a public apology and nothing happens. But I think it's time for that to change. I think we're past that point of allowing people to disrespect us and we just be okay with it and we take the public apology. Reason being, not that because I just enjoy being an asshole, which I do in a political realm, but because when Black people mess up in the criminal justice realm, we don't get to apologize. Even if we do get to apologize, we get sentenced and we have to do our time. So therefore, when we're disrespected in a criminal justice aspect or racial injustice aspect, even though that's not on the books right now, because for some reason we don't have anti-hate crimes that really pertain to Black people. But when we do have those situations take place, I think it's very important for us to hold everybody accountable as if we would be held accountable. I think it's important for us to understand our financial power and our financial structure and what we have in this country. We have a $2 trillion buying power. So we have to understand how that works. Right now, we're learning more about our voting rights. Right now, the microscope is on Georgia because of voting. But we have to understand how voting, how politics, how our money, and how the criminal justice system all go hand in hand. And that how we have to have a disciplinary mindset in controlling all of those structures. So when we talk about voting, we have to be able to talk about where the companies are spending their money. And a lot of the times we are funding our own oppression. We are putting money into companies that are putting money behind representatives' campaigns who don't signify what we believe in. So if you have a company like a Delta, a Coca-Cola, a Home Depot, or any of these big companies who are being financed by a majority Black-owned company, Black business, if we're putting a lot of our Black dollars into these companies, but their mindset is to do with a Republican Party or put money behind a Republican candidate, then we are funding our oppression. And so therefore we have to understand the discipline in funding our own oppression and make sure that we realize how powerful we are when we put our money into the right places. And so that's why when I talk about freedom ain't free, it's about understanding political, but it's also being able to understand the power of Black businesses as well. Black businesses only receive 2% of the Black dollar. If we can get that to 10%, 15%, we create over 100,000 jobs per year by just understanding to spend money, to think about spending money first with someone that looks like you. And a lot of times when it comes to spending money, it's about convenience. But unfortunately, that's not beneficial to us every time. We don't have the most convenient resources. But if we can even just focus on one day a week, I'm interested in something called Black Friday. Every Friday, we focus on spending All of our money with the black-owned company. But I'm saying it again on this platform this time because that's what I believe in. I believe in the power of us just understanding if we can corner one day, you'll learn so much about the black community. You'll be able to find different black resources to move your money into their situations. So we have to be able to not only boycott businesses, but come up with alternative businesses for us to use. We have to figure out what is the competitor of Coke. What is the competitor of Home Depot? That is a black-owned situation. A lot of times we don't have to reinvent the wheel, but we have to make the structure of it happen because a lot of times people can't move how they want to move within our economy to even support activism because of they got to work. Because a lot of people who are employing black people aren't people who even care about the black community. So therefore, we are, I hate to say enslaved, but in a sense, we're controlled. We're programmed to not be able to move how we want to move because of a job we have to show up to every day. We can't move where we want to move because the company doesn't understand the black struggle. The company that you work for doesn't understand. They're not black owned, so they don't give a damn about protecting the vote. They don't give a damn about financial empowerment for the black community. But see, that's where we have to understand our power and understand how creative and how powerful we can be if we join forces. If we're able to control where we work and delegate where we work. And I'm not saying that everyone has to be an entrepreneur, but I don't think that you should stay in a career forever. I think if you get a great job, you should move up in that corporate ladder within 5 to 10 years. But as you're doing so, plan your exit strategy. Plan a way for you to create your own. Because a lot of times when you talk about financial empowerment or freedom ain't free, you're not getting paid your worth. I used a example the other day on Instagram and it kind of took off and I was surprised so many people never thought of this. And what I said was most people don't make $25 an hour. But if you were to make $25 an hour, you would bring home $1,000 a week before taxes. But in an entrepreneurial space of someone that sells t-shirts or sells sweatshirts and hoodies, if you take that same $25, excuse me, if you work 40 hours a week, if you sell a product for either $25, you sell 40 of those products in 1 week, you make that same amount of money. If you sell $40 products and you sell 25 of them in 1 week, then you make that same amount of money. Now, yes, you will have to invest in yourself, but you will be able to control your own income, control your own hours. Most of the time when you work an 8-hour shift, ain't nobody working the whole 8 hours. We on the phone, we trying to figure out when the boss coming, then we jumping back, then we get to work. You know what I mean? So a lot of times, if we can understand that schooling, that a 9 to 5, that's structure. And what a lot of us don't have is discipline and structure financially. So they've provided a system for us that take care of business and structure for us on a day-to-day basis. So if you're able to take 3 or 4 hours out of your day to really focus on business, then you'll be able to grow more. If black people trained at business like we trained at sports, we'd be motherfucking unstoppable. If black people trained at business how we train in entertainment, because then we get into entertainment and then we don't even understand the business of entertainment. Then we get fucked on the back end because they are the ones writing the contracts for us because we aren't educated. The whole thing right now, we are the generation of change. From 20, 25, all the way to 30, 45 years old, we have the power of these cell phones. These cell phones, this social media is really just information in the palm of our hands. We walk around continuously all day with a computer in our hands. And the amount of information that we have is limitless. But it depends what you structure your mind. How do you spend your time? And I'm not going to act like I'm perfect. I spend a lot of time scrolling on Instagram, scrolling on Twitter. I'm talking about carpal tunnel in my thumb. I be having to use my left hand because I be scrolling all day long. So I'm a victim of it too. But if we understand the structure of, again, 3 to 4 hours a day of focusing on business and talking about business. Are any of you in here business owners? Anybody own a business? Damn, black people. Okay. What type of business? Well, clothing. Clothing and DJing. I think I always, I always used to be a club promoter. So I think DJing and hosting events is such a great business that we don't tap into enough. Networking is a business that we don't tap into enough. Consulting is a business we just be connecting the dots, and we be doing that shit for free. You know what I'm saying? We be putting people on for free. And a lot of times you got to understand your power structure. And even though people are your friends, they got to understand you got bills to pay. But I think a few of you raised your hands. Like I said, I want to get into the business aspect of it. I want to get into how we structure our businesses. I want to talk about how we understand business. And like I said, and understand the political realm. And grab a drink, have a seat. Like I said, I still have an open seat because one of my guests is running a little behind. But if they don't show up, someone's free to help me co-host this evening and join the conversation. How you doing this evening?
Hey, so Scotty, I wanted to touch on, I think you were talking about like the generation. And what I feel like in the Black community is a lot of us are crippled in our minds because of generational curses from them. Like I know like my mom and dad, like they work 9 to 5. So they're not all into the whole like entrepreneurship side. So when I was like, no, I don't want to work a 9 to 5. And they're looking at me like, no, you're going to have to work a 9 to 5 because you're going to have to pay your bills. So it's like, we just have to kind of, I feel like some of us in our culture don't really understand necessarily how powerful our dollar is in the community first. And then we have to start breaking cycles to keep us from being crippled in that mindset of not being able to exceed beyond what has already been presented in front of us. So that was just one of my points I kind of wanted to touch on.
You're absolutely right. I think that the generation previous to ours was looking for security.
Right.
They were looking for, and that's what a 9 to 5 is. It's financially secure that you know that you're going to get a paycheck every week.
Right.
You know exactly how to budget your money. Mm-hmm. But it takes that one risk taker out of a generation to believe in themselves.
Yeah.
To really bet the house, bet the money on them.
Right.
Like that's what I am for my family. You know what I mean? Like I really bet on myself. I haven't had a real job in like 3 years. And I think the last real job I had really taught me about business a lot. Mm-hmm. I used to sell cars. And when I sold cars, I ate off of, they had like a minimum wage that they would give you if like weekly, but you really made your money off of the commission. And when I started understanding how commission works, and I understand like if I sell this, so if you work at a company, right? Let's just say Coca-Cola for the hell of it. And if your position is like sales or something like that, sales and marketing, but they have you at a salary of great number, $100,000 a year. You know what I mean? But in that year's time, you make the company $20 million. What is paying you $100,000 out of that $20 million? And so when I was working at the car dealership, I would look at how I'd be compensated for my sales. For every sale I made 25% of it. I was like, okay, that ain't bad. So if I sell $1,000, I make $250. But again, the minimum wage at the time was like $725. So you would get a base pay of about $300 a week just to keep you working there just in case. But if you could sell cars, I averaged about $50,000, $60,000 a year. No college degree, 1 year of college, no deep sales history, but just a hustle mentality of what I could do. And when we think about that, the compensation from commission, it transferred into, well, if I invest in myself and if I buy these lights and if I buy these cameras and if I put together this show, then I can have an audience. And I'm thinking ticket sales. You know what I mean? I'm thinking how I can create a podcast that's like I told the crew, I was like, I'm done just creating content. Because last year we didn't have a whole open live audience show. It would just be us in the studio like most podcasts is. You know what I'm saying? But my business mindset kicked in to say, okay, how do I create this to a live event? Because I have friends that are rappers, that are comedians, and that's how they get paid off their events. Events, vendors paying fees. But you have to just think everything you think of is business. You know what I mean? I think one of the saddest things that I saw over the last year was the disrespect of the water boys. And I say that bothered me a lot because I understand those are young moguls in the making. Those are young hustlers in the making, and all they need is a little structure. All they need is a point in the right direction. And a lot of people, joke on them and talk shit about them. But in my mind, I was just like, you can't really You can't really talk down on somebody or talk about somebody if you're not going to give them an alternative. It's like you can't even tell a drug dealer to stop selling drugs if you can't suffice that income that they're putting on their plate. You know what I mean? Like, what are your other means? And but because the drugs and the scams are so easy to get your hands on in our community, that's easy for us to get access to. So we easily, fall into that trap because there ain't no one really grabbing us and saying, well, how can you control a business? How can you be better at business? How can I turn you into an entrepreneur? How do you take those water boys and turn them to business moguls within the next 10 years? How do you push them in the right direction? How do we program them to understand business etiquette? That it's not okay to be so aggressive when you run into a car. You know what I'm saying? How do we get them to understand they need to have customer service like Chick-fil-A? You know what I mean? Like, and that's what I require all black-owned businesses to do. Like, I don't really just give you my money because you black. You're going to treat me with some goddamn respect too. You know what I mean? And I think we have to demand that respect from everybody. And that's the only way we get it. Because we really spend the most money in this country. And we're really the most disrespected people in this country. In this world. Everywhere. Treated as if we're inferior to so many people, to every other minority in this country. How they look down on us? Like we didn't build this shit for free. And that's always my problem. Like even within the last week or so with the no disrespect to the stop Asian hate. I do think we should stop Asian hate. But Asian hate got a lot of reprimands and reparations and laws passed real quick, real fast, real fast. And I'm just saying, damn, how do we achieve that level of respect? But it's business. How many Asians have businesses in our communities? And you don't even know what the hell they be saying when you go in them nail salons. They be looking at you like you crazy. I'm like, all right, you better chill. I don't know what you said, but we can take it there. You know what I'm saying? But we have to understand it's business first. The only thing this country respects is our dollars. And that's why when we got serious about the Delta boycott, they had to speak out. They had to change their stance on how they felt. Because we control that economy. And we're at the level where we have to stop everybody from disrespecting us and control our dollars. And discipline ourselves to understand if we say it shuts down, it's going to shut down. You literally shut down a daycare today. We literally put a viral post out within 24 hours and that whole franchise ended because no one wants to feel our wrath. But for far too long, our pain and suffering has been accepted. It's been normalized. We've been demonized and criminalized for so long by this justice system that nobody's respecting us at this point. And at any given time, we have to be able to be knowledgeable and have the conversation and get ownership. The only way we win in this game is ownership. Working for somebody else will always get you fired when you want to do what the fuck you want to do. Like as an activist, I move and piss people off all the time. But can't nobody check how I move or how I piss people off because I don't work for nobody. You know what I mean? Like when you look at, I hate to use this as an example, but it's just current event that popped up. If you look at Paul Pierce situation, right? Oh, man. Paul Pierce was really just having some fun. He was sitting at the house. It started off as a poker game and it turned into some massages and dances and things like that, which a lot of people enjoy. But because his corporate situation, ESPN, doesn't allow that, he was reprimanded. He was fired. When a lot of people was like, shit, I know when I leave here tonight, I might go to Cheetah. That's my favorite spot. Yeah, 5-star restaurant. You know what I mean? But it's about ownership. It's about if he was a person that owned his own platform, you couldn't tell him what to do. You can't tell me I can't roll a blunt right now. You can't tell me I can't sip the Hennessy right now because this is my outlet. And until we own some shit, we have to, walk the thin line, walking those eggshells of acceptance. We just got to the point, I think, within the last 2 years where black hair was accepted. It's not even national yet for you to wear your hair natural across the country. But I do have a special guest that I do want to welcome. I do want her to introduce herself, and I do want her to tell. Yes, ma'am. You can come sit up here if you want to, wherever you would like to sit. They want you on the stage. The people need to see you. We need you right now. I'm so glad that you decided to join us tonight. And y'all don't even understand the women that are around. The black women are really running shit, y'all. Let me say that first. Because like for real. Like even when I step into the business realm, even I step in the activism realm, there's black women in powerful positions that are holding it down for us. Even today, I was at a powerful protest, and I was the only black man there. And it's too much of that. And it's time for our brothers to really step up because we're the ones being criminalized, and we're the ones that are more likely to be victims of police brutality. But we ain't showing up like we still don't care. But I'm gonna shut up for a second, and I'm gonna have my special guest introduce herself, and the stage is yours.
Well, look, to say that I'm honored and humbled to be here, that is just such an understatement. And like I was listening to this young man talk, and I was like, I need him. Like I literally, like I need you. Like I need you to be, a part of my team on a multitude of fronts. And then one of the reasons why I need you specifically is because, like you boots on the ground, you're doing some things, you're doing some powerful things right now. There are so many people who are waiting on somebody else to do something. Right. There are so many people that have this victim mentality of, why me? But the question that you young people have to ask yourself is why not me? Because y'all shown us the possibilities of what's to come. And I just simply appreciate, whenever I say I'm humbled to be here before you young people, like I'm humbled to be here before you young people because, like I'm 53 years old. I'm not going out there protesting. Like I'm just simply not doing some of the things that y'all are doing. But however, I will support y'all in any capacity that I possibly can. So I just simply wanted to tell you that first and foremost.
But before you get to, you didn't tell them who you are, or what you do.
Oh yeah, no.
Before now, why you might need, why you feel you need me.
So look now, I actually wanted to say why I needed you first,
before
I told them who I was. Because with all things that I do, right, I try to make a heart connection. I try to connect with somebody on a personal level because, most people come at individuals from a business perspective. For me, this is not about business. For me, this is about making a heart connection, about making a real connection. Because if I can relate to you on a personal level, then I can relate to you on a business level. If I can relate to you on a personal level, then I can relate to you on a family level. And if people really if they really interconnected as family, as a community, we can do some powerful, powerful things together. And so now, the reason why I wanted to preface that is because I am the director for Black Wall Street, Georgia. And I was just appointed 3 weeks ago. And I reached out to Black Wall Street, Georgia right after the insurrection because I was busy doing my own life, doing my own thing. I own an insurance agency, First Priority Insurance. We do about 4.5 million in premium. So I have a pretty comfortable life. But however, the insurrection really did. If I can be frank, it pissed me off because it really did make me stop and think like, what is this insurrection really about? Is it really about the fact that Donald Trump lost? Is it really about the fact that Joe Biden won? Well, the only conclusion that I could come to is that no, it wasn't about either one of them. It was really about Kamala Harris. It was really, them looking at it from the perspective of how dare they let her in our house. And that was my call to action. And then right after I watched, the insurrection, I watched Glory. I don't know if you've watched Glory with Denzel Washington, but it came on right at the moment whenever they had him strapped where they was whipping him. And then here it is, he was fighting this army and he ran looking for some shoes to fight this war for civil rights. But yet still they whipped him and he was trying so hard not to cry. And then right after that, then Black Wall Street came on. And I was like, that's the answer right there, because I cannot imagine if it would have been a Benjamin Crump leading that charge. to clear a path for Kamala Harris to come into the White House. Because, like right now, like that should have been a rude awakening to all of us, And then even if you think about with the way that the police treated them, now think about if that would have been Black people, how they would have been treated. Now, I'm not saying, for us to pick up arms. I'm not saying for us to approach things from that manner, but we do definitely have to be smarter as a community. And then even to hear this young man talking about us interconnecting the Black dollar, we only make up 12% of America's population, but yet and still we are 50% of America's consumerism. Now, I want y'all to think about that. Like, what if we interconnected this Black dollar within our own community? Because we are the only community that don't specifically do business with us. It breaks my heart that I can have a client that maybe I've serviced, and I've been protecting their family with insurance for the past 5 or 10 years. But because somebody down the street, where the insurance might be $5 less, then you're going to go down the street to somebody who don't look like me and you. Like, that's heartbreaking. But just think about that. Think about the power of that, and think about the power of who we are. And then I also hold another national position. I'm also the Georgia director for the National Association for the Advancement of Women in Insurance. And it's not really about insurance. It really is about teaching women to run their business as if they were an insurance agent. And then one of the reasons why I think that that's so important is because if we really truly treated each other from the standpoint of, let's cover another brother, let's cover another sister. How can I protect you? How can I empower you? How can I help to create opportunities, not just simply for you, but for your family? Whenever we talk about generational wealth, y'all are our generation. It's like, I want to talk to individuals from the standpoint, whenever we talk about insurance, for those of you who have children, even if you just spent $25 a month and invested it in $1 million baby policy where your children could have, where they could be millionaires. Or maybe whenever they did get to be you young people's age, or maybe they could take $30,000, $40,000 out of an insurance policy and then go start their own business. But we don't think about that. Like, it would break my heart about how I would talk to a client like you could spend $300 for the year, and then they won't do that to get insurance, but yet and still they'll go buy their child a pair of $200-$300 Jordans. I love Michael Jordan. I'm a diehard Kobe Bryant fan. Like, if you cut me, I might bleed purple or gold, but obviously before Kobe, to where there was Mike. But, absolutely. But if you are doing something positive in the Black community, I want to support you. And then from the moment that I walked in, and in fact, the only reason why I even came is because of my lovely, Miss Marquina November. I was looking for a personal assistant because I was so busy doing so much, trying to wear all these hats. And, and then she actually, was hired by my goddaughter and then she's actually only 33 years old. And then she owns 8 different businesses. But then whenever I met her, I was like, you are more profound than just, an administrative assistant. You are more profound than just a personal assistant. And so I was like, I need you. I need your help to further this Black Wall Street initiative. And then I'm quite sure that there are some of you who are currently out here right now that are doing some positive. Oh, yeah. Oh, now I'm absolutely going to give her a moment to speak. But I was just simply saying that to say is that if you're doing something profound, if you want to do something profound, even if you're not doing something yet, I want to create a space for you. This young man, he was talking about criminal justice reform. I just brought in a young lady, and literally that's what she does, to where she is the director for criminal justice reform. She's currently serving on, the board of directors at the NAACP. I've also had a meeting with the president of the Atlanta Chamber of Commerce. I've also had a meeting with the president of, with the director of economic development for the NAACP. So I just simply want y'all to know that I'm navigating and then I'm trying to move like that. Now, my husband, he's a Q. His name is James McMorris, and then he is an Omega Psi Phi brother. And so it is my passion where I'm going to interconnect the Black community and the Divine Nine. Because I feel like if I can bring those two factions together, that we can do some mighty things. We can do some tremendous things for the uplifting and then for the support and for the advancement of the Black community. And I don't want individuals to look at, to look at it from the standpoint, that it's a us against them situation, because it's not. It really is about the sum of us. Because if we approach things from the standpoint of being inclusive, and now you can include now to where you can look at inclusion however you want to, but I'm looking at it from the standpoint of inclusiveness within our own community. Because if we stop looking at each other as competition, then we can do some things together, because I don't want it to be about what I'm doing. I don't want it to be about what this person is doing. I really do want to approach this from the standpoint of what we are doing together. And then also now the other thing, now I'm also a bronze executive director for an organization called Legal Shield, where we have a Legal Shield Ladies of Justice initiative where we make it affordable for you to have access to an attorney. Not just simply for you personally, but also for your business. Like this young man was saying about how, sometimes us as a business community, we are uninformed. But think about the standpoint that if you did have a contract or a document that you wanted to have reviewed, wouldn't it be phenomenal if you could pick up the phone and contact your attorney and say, hey, I need for you to review this for me? For those of you who want to start a business, what if you could talk to an attorney to say, how do I properly structure and form my business? But the most important thing that we do, especially for you young people right now, is that we give you 24-hour emergency access. So therefore, if you have a situation, if you are ever being questioned, arrested, or detained, we just simply want you to download this app on your phone. And then this way you can get your attorney on the phone immediately. I have had to use this app twice. Now, my little brother has had to use the app on 4 separate occasions. And then he actually only has Legal Shield because, to where he was out there, doing what young men do. And I would tell him, look, Denny, I hope that you're putting some money aside, because the best thing that I can do is put $20 on your books if you do something stupid. Now, if you do something positive, I got you every day, all day. But if you do something stupid, the best I can do is put $20 on your books. And then it dawned on me, like, Kim, why pay $20? If he goes to jail, why not pay $25 a month and give him affordable access to an attorney to keep him from going to jail? And then mind you, I said that my little brother has had to use this not once, not twice, not 3 times, but on 4 separate occasions. And then the last story that I'm going to share with you about this app, because I want y'all to think about this, right? They are shooting us in the back. They are shooting us in the back.
Rest in peace to
I cannot imagine if Trayvon Martin, if instead of him calling his girlfriend, if he'd have called his attorney, how differently that situation could have turned out. I think about Sandra Bland. I cannot imagine if she'd have called her attorney instead of calling her parents. I cannot imagine if with Breonna Taylor, if her boyfriend, if he'd have called his attorney, would he have had to spend 2 weeks in jail? So now this is the thing that I need for you young people to think about. We spend money on everything else. We need to have affordable access to an attorney. The one thing that 45 did very, very effectively, and in fact, I don't even call him president because he was an imposter in the White House. I call him 45. But the one thing that he did very effectively is that he stacked that court system with lifetime appointments of judges who do not look like you and I. And so the best thing that I can do is make sure that in the event, if we find ourselves in a situation, that we have access, that we have affordable access to be able to protect what's most important to us. But now I'm going to stop there on Legal Shield, because clearly that's something that I'm very passionate about. And I am going to come back to Black Wall Street. And the reason why I am going to come back to Black Wall Street is because I want y'all to think about this, right? Now think about the black dollar, and then think about the power of the black dollar. Think about everything that this young man just said. Everything that this young man just said is true. But now look at this strip right here. It's all us. And then even if you think about Georgia, we just flipped Georgia blue. Now, I've also partnered with 2 young ladies. Now, I don't know if y'all recall the 2 young ladies who actually bought 19 families together to purchase 100 acres of land. Now, I've also connected with them because they're actually getting ready to create a town called Freedom, Georgia. And I'm like, I think that that's fantastic. And I'm like, I don't care what the cost is, but I would love to have a street called Black Wall Street in Freedom, Georgia. But now I want you to think about this. Now we're starting with Georgia, but what about for every other Black community that's positive and progressive for Black economic development? What if we could have a freedom a freedom in the DMV area, the DC, Maryland area? What if we could have a freedom in Texas? What if we could have a freedom in Chicago? What if we could have a freedom in New York? Now think about if we could really truly come together to really pool our money and our resources together to create a safe space where we can really truly all be free. But now, one area that I'm specifically going to support this young man is that he told me that he has a Juneteenth celebration coming up. Now that is the next date that's of importance to us as a Black community, because I want to shed some light on what Juneteenth is really, really about. But I want to approach it from a financial literacy standpoint, because whenever you think about Juneteenth, now you're true enough. Now that might be whenever they broke the chains, whenever they told us that we were free, whenever we were no longer shackled. But are we really truly free? Are we free in our mindset? Are we spiritually free? Are we financially free? Are we free from this white society?
Damn sure ain't.
Now, I want y'all to think about that. And then even whenever it comes to your resources, now the questions that I need for you young people to ask yourself is that, are you really truly being good financial stewards of the resources that God has blessed you with? And again, I say that God has blessed you with. Because if you woke up today, every single one of y'all should be thanking the fact that God, like, I'm grateful to be here. Like I tell individuals, look, I'm not a preacher. I'm not a thus said the Lord Bible beaten, but we all have great gifts inside of us. God blessed us all with a gift. We just simply need to look inside of who we are and say, what gift did God bless me with? Now, I learned a long time ago that my ministry gift is the ministry of helps. I love helping people. I love being able to be a blessing. Now, I was that friend where if your friend was messing with you, you would call me and I would come beat you up. But I was also that friend. Absolutely. Look, brother, I knew that there was a reason why you and I connected. Absolutely.
Bullying people?
Yes.
I'm like, I wish you would.
Exactly.
I wish you would try.
Look, exactly. But now, however, I was also that friend that if you needed 50 cents and if I only had $1, I would give it to you. Yes. But however, if you really needed the whole $1, I would give you that too. And I can't imagine if we really truly approach, our businesses from the standpoint of marketplace ministry, we could do some really amazing and some really truly tremendous things. So now I'm going to call up my vice counsel of administration, Ms. Marquina November. I'm going to step down. And then for those of you who want to connect with us, for those of you who want to join us in this Black Wall Street, initiative, I want to connect with you. I want to be able to help you. I want to empower you to do whatever it is that God called you to do. Yes, young lady, how can I help you, sweetheart? Absolutely.
Switch with her for 1 second so we can get whatever you're asking on, so I can just hear what she's saying.
Okay. So you mentioned earlier that your husband is an Omega.
Absolutely. My baby is a Q.
And so I'm a Delta.
Oh, I need you.
Yeah. So with the work that I do and have gotten into, there has been an extreme disconnect within the Divine Nine that I feel like, just from speaking from experience.
Absolutely.
Women in my chapter, it's not
In the activism realm?
They're not as involved as I would like for them to be. Just not even with activism, just within knowing what's going on in society. So when you mentioned, okay, you're going to try to connect Divine Nine and Black Wall Street together, that is something that I think about on a regular. How can I get the Divine Nine more active? How do you see that working? Like, I just want to know, what are some of the ideas that your husband and you have put together? Because like you said, you guys are in a different age demographic. So techniques that work for his line brothers may not work for my line sisters who are in their early 20s. You get what I'm saying? So how are you going to connect
the entire Divine Nine, considering the gaps that are there?
You know, actually, sweetheart, I'm so glad that you asked that question because to be perfectly honest, dear, I'm going to start with you. And the reason why I say I'm going to start with you is because now there's actually, because I support my husband in all that he does. So whenever they're having events, I'm like, look, like I'm gonna call all my girlfriends and then we gonna show up to support whatever it is that you do. And so I'm always asking them, how can I help you? And so whenever I told him that I had this particular position, he said that he was gonna make sure that I was successful. And so the Basilis has actually said that he is going to set up a meeting with me and the president of the Divine Nine. So that's actually something that's in the works right now. But I can't speak from your perspective because, you know, like the where I'm not in the Divine Nine, but you are. So I want you and I to connect because I mean, like I said, and in fact, my business partner, she's actually a Delta.
Hey, Sarah girl.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, to where her name is Sean Stone.
Yes.
And so we're actually getting ready to create a nonprofit called Sisters in Business. And so, and the reason why we are specifically calling it Sisters in Business is because, again, we want to approach, you know, business from the standpoint of sisterhood, like to where she's my sister from another mother. And in fact, she, believe it or not, she actually looks like she looks like she could be your older sister. So I'm going to make sure that I introduce the two of you. And then, and again, like I said, I don't have all the answers, but I am going to pick a place and start. And then I tell individuals that look like my master's degree is in organizational leadership. It is not in business management. And the reason why I preface that is because if you're doing something phenomenal in the community, or if you want to do something phenomenal in the community, I want to empower you to do it. I don't want to manage your initiative. I don't want to manage your business. I don't want to manage your people. I don't want to manage you. But however, I do see Black Wall Street being built as an organization. And so, and then, right, whenever I say, you know, as an organization, I'm talking about an organization based upon marketplace ministry. So again, young lady, I'm so glad that you were bold enough, that you were audacious enough to want to step up and then to have something to say, because there are plenty of people that have questions and they have something to say, but yet and still they don't want to speak up and say it. So again, so I need your help because I need your voice. So I am definitely going to so now I'm going to interconnect you with Miss Marquina because again, like I told her from the minute that I met her that I needed her, and I hadn't even looked at her resume, but for her to be, you know, Woman of the Year for Clark Atlanta, I need her help. For her to be Woman of the Year, for Morehouse, I need her help. So again, I'm trying to look. I am specifically looking for young women like you to empower, to lift your voice in whatever capacity and whatever platform and whatever manner that you see fit to do so. But you was getting ready to ask me something, sweetheart.
And this will be the last question. Sorry.
Oh yeah, look, no, sweetheart, you go right ahead on, honey. Absolutely, sweetheart.
So I know also when people build something, eventually it kind of gets one-sided. So what, and by one-sided, I mean people my age no longer have a seat at the table. It's like, oh, we want you to do social media, but we don't want you actually in the room. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we want you to come and use your young techniques that you know, but we don't really need you to help make the decisions. Or we want you to come spend your money here, but we don't really want, you get what I'm saying? You get where I'm going? So
I do completely.
Like, I want to make sure that with this grand idea that you do have and this team that you are building around you, what are you going to do to ensure that there are people in their 20s with innovative ideas that not just get invited to the table, but they get to sit there and have conversations at the table?
Okay, so now let me tell you a little bit about me, dear. Okay, so now before I ended up here, now first off, right, I have been a member of Faith Walk Ministries for 20 years. And whenever I first started out at Faith Walk Ministries, because again, you know, to where my ministry gift is a ministry of helps, right? And I worked in the nursery probably for about 6 years, even though I have no children. I was a youth leader for about 10 years, even though I have no children. And then one of the reasons why I wanted to bring that to your attention is because I don't have a jaded parental perspective. Not saying that parents are jaded, but I just simply don't have that perspective. And so, and then like, and I would tell the kids and I would be like, look, you know, Now, you want somebody to pray with you. Now, I ain't gonna tell you that I won't pray with you, but you might want to go see Sister Vicky because that was Pastor Collins' daughter. And I was like, look, like the Lord knows her voice. Like he knows my voice. He also, but it might take a little while for that prayer to get there because I took that long, winded, twisted road to a master's degree. But with that, because I don't have that jaded parental perspective, I operate very, very well with anybody. And so it doesn't make a difference either where if you have something to say, I want to help you say it. Cause like how I said about how with Miss Marquina and then the fact, that my goddaughter, where me and her mother, we have been best friends for about 25, 30 years because I would take her under my wing and be like, baby, let me show you what this is really about. To where I would help to empower her. I would educate her from everything. I would educate her on business. I would educate her on boys. I would educate her on relationships. And so now, to where she's happily married, 3 kids, and then she has 8 businesses, and she's also on my board of directors of Black Wall Street. So therefore, you wouldn't necessarily be working directly with me. But however, I am going to bring in some young people because because I have to fill out my board of directors. So you will have a seat at the table. So right now I have 30 positions and I do believe I have like 20 seats filled. So if this is something that you can see yourself wanting to do, but even though I have to fill out my board of directors just specifically for the board, but we have 8 different initiatives. And then underneath those 8 different initiatives, we probably have about 10 different sub initiatives underneath them. So therefore, you can just simply pick a place and then start. So now, for those of you who are listening, please go to Black Wall Street. .org, because again, this is the national organization. And then number 1, look at our history. Also look at the fact of the 7 spirits of God, because in all things that we do, we definitely put God first. And then from there, look at the initiatives and then find an initiative that you would like to lead. And then also think of an initiative that you would like to start, because again, I'm going to promote you. So now you are the youngest person that I'm going to start with. So I'm going to tell you exactly like I told Marquina, if there is something that you want to do, I want to help you do it. If there's something that you're going to do, I'm going to give you a seat at the table so that your voice can be heard. So now I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you.
But you let me know. So by all means, Marquina's still got to be here because I have to leave. But definitely, to where contact me. Like, look, like I'm here to serve because I don't know everything. But however, I do have an ear. And then I take feedback very, very well. So I want to help you specifically do whatever it is that you want to do. Okay. All right. Fantastic.
I just want to say, thank you.
You're very, very welcome.
I just want to say thank you for your time. I know we was running a little late, and you said
no problem.
But you gave us a whole 30 minutes, and I appreciate that.
Look.
And I can't wait to build with you. And I'm just excited for us to connect the dots between, like you said, different age group, just different mindsets, different generations.
Yes,
it's about us. It's too much individualism within our culture. It's too much look at me. It's too much looking for the camera and trying to be seen. I just want to be a team player and play my role and assist in how we can push our culture forward. So thank you.
Go. Well, look, it's a blessing. It's a blessing. It's a blessing. So now I'm going to step down. And again, Miss Marquina is my vice administrator. And so I want to give her a moment to talk about who she is and then what she does. And then by all means, definitely please get her contact information. And then please book an appointment on my calendar because I need y'all.
Okay.
And I know that I need y'all. And then again, if you're doing something positive, I want to support you in all that you do. So thank you, because together we can build Black Wall Street. We will build Black Wall Street. That's right. All right. Be blessed. All righty. Thank you.
You're amazing.
So before we move forward, just go over some house rules because a lot of you can sit like that. I'm gonna bring my other guests up as well. We do a little bit of house rules because a lot of new people just walk in the room. So this is a community event. We do want to respect each other. We do want to remain quiet while the other speakers are speaking. You can have a turn to voice your opinion at the microphone as well. My other guest just got here. How many of you heard of the brand Black as a Vibe? Y'all been seeing that everywhere? Hey man, well, my motherfucking dog owns that shit, man. So I had to bring him in tonight. And I just wanted to thank you for being here. Before we go forward, Ms. Marquino, and bringing me such a special guest. I didn't. That wasn't planned, y'all, at all. That what just happened right now was so powerful. I just had to shut the fuck up and let black women be actually. As a black man, you gotta shut up sometimes. Give the mic up. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna get that whole conversation at all. So we definitely have to talk about Black Wall Street. I am gonna turn the mic back off. And we're gonna just have to project. But these here are our podcast mics. We have food, but I do need y'all just to be a little bit more silent for me so we can get some good content. So the audio mics can pick up everything. If you do have something to say, stand right behind this pole where my producer Jay is, and you can get your turn to speak. We're having a great conversation. And we really let people know that freedom ain't free, but if we work collectively together, anything is possible. So Marquita, stage is yours.
Okay. Hey guys, what's going on, everybody? Hold on, this thing a little short. A little short. Can y'all hear me? I'm good on there.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So, hey, y'all, I'm Marquita November. If you guys don't know me, so I am the founder of Breaking the Cycle. I'm also a graduate of Clark Atlanta University. And, period, CAU in the building. Listen, the blacker the college, the sweeter the knowledge. Don't play with it.
What was that again?
The blacker the college, the sweeter the knowledge.
Put that on the shirt.
Look.
Don't put that on the shirt before I do that.
Hey, I got it. Collab on that, brother.
You got your
But no,
we just want 25.
But yes, so I am a proud graduate of CAU. And so as of January 11, 2021, I've actually been a full-time entrepreneur. So I am the owner of a company called Dot Connector Consulting. So I do all things strategic branding, marketing, administrative work, business management, all of those different things. So when it comes to, that's why I love events like this where we're talking about financial literacy and just all of those different things. Because when I came to Clark Atlanta, I didn't even really know what an HBCU was. I'm from New York. We don't have HBCUs there. All I know is that I had a teacher that was an AKA and her classroom was pink and green. Like that's like the closest thing that we got to like HBCU culture. So either which way, meeting Kimberly, which is actually, she is the godmother of another amazing young lady that I just started working with that she was talking about. Rashina Bryan, 33 years old, owns 8 different businesses in a 15-minute radius of one another. I mean, you have Kimberly, who is here, just as y'all heard, as literally director of the state of Georgia's chapter of Black Wall Street USA. So it's just so many different things. So it's my honor to not only be working with them, doing administrative work and business management, and really being able to just like Kimberly said when we first talked to each other, really maximize, right? So really in all that I do, like I just really believe in strategy. Like that's what I would call myself first before anything is a strategist, because I'm a soul singer as well. But that's definitely.
That girl be singing though, for real.
Thank you.
That girl be singing.
Thank you. Thank you, sis. So really, I just try my best to bring all things together. So with this movement, I just feel like it's really best for just everybody to figure out what are your best keys. Like, how do you add to this movement? All of us aren't supposed to be on the streets. All of us aren't all supposed to be, getting arrested. Everybody isn't supposed to be at home making the calls to these district attorneys, to these jailhouses, whatever it is. We have to make sure that we are on my opinion, I'm 24 years old, and this is my first full year out of college. And of course, before the revolution started on May 29th, I would say this new revolution was birthed. I was really just focused on fighting from a collegiate standpoint and really just fighting for the everyday life of students, because beyond the streets, and I'm all about fighting for Black lives, when we're being brutalized, but we also have to fight for Black lives in all ways. Like we have to fight for Black lives on college campuses. We have to fight for students who are going to school every day and do not have the funding to eat, who don't have the funding to even have housing while on campus. I mean, I have seen it all. And so even, with everything, that's really just my main message to everybody, is to just be as strategic as you can with this movement. And just to give you all a little background, I'm very, very big on the financial literacy piece as well, because like I don't come from much at all. Like I'm a Haitian woman. Like my parents are like the first in their family to actually come here. You know, I have watched my parents actually build an entire life for themselves. Like my dad is an Uber driver. Like my mother is a registered nurse. Like I know, you know, what it's like growing up and you don't really have what other people have. And so when you grow up, and a lot of it, just like a lot of you guys in here, you know, when we grow up in that way, we don't even think that we're able to obtain, you know, but we have to build. And one of the things I'm mainly focused on right now is building generational wealth, because everything that everybody else is focused on, I'm like, yo, you can have that, because I'm 24 years old, and by the time I'm 30, I need to be retired. I need to be having, you know, money coming in my sleep, you know what I'm saying? Like before I even hit 25, that's my type time, you know what I'm saying? And so when it comes to that, we have to think elevated and strategic, because God forbid something, all of this brutalization that is happening against our people. I want to be somebody that could fund the movement. I don't want to beg nobody to, you know, put our kids through school. I don't want to beg nobody to take care of families like Jimmy Atchison and Monteria Robinson and all that. I pray for God to put us all in a position where we can invest in our communities and in our families, so that we're not just fighting for dead Black lives. We're fighting for the lives while they're still here. So definitely, I would love to connect with all of you guys. If I don't know, of course, I know so many people in here, but you know, if I don't know you, definitely I will always love to connect, because Breaking the Cycle, not only are we a collegiate chapter that we started in 2015, so we actually 2016 January 20th to be exact. Hold up. And so it's actually been 5 years. Thank the Lord Jesus. That was blessed to me by the blood of the Lamb. So whenever people speak of breaking the cycle, I'm always like, look, that was God's gift to me. I'm just doing what he said we could do. You know what I'm saying? So either which way, we started in Atlanta. Now we have chapters like all over different HBCUs. We've gone to Haiti, Jamaica, South Africa, and Dubai. We are leading a trip partnering with Motherland Connect to go to Ghana for Juneteenth. If you guys haven't connected, please make sure that y'all are getting in tune. So one thing about it, yes, we are about this movement, but I want to make sure that each and every single one of you guys are understanding that this revolution is about the revolutionary inside of all of us. One thing that Scotty said, he was like, some people are out here doing revolutionary things, but they don't have revolutionary spirit. And that really spoke to me. You know what I mean? Because we have to understand that all of this is spiritual warfare. So you can decide whether or not you're going to fight it in the flesh or in the spirit. But you have to understand, you know, the balance of doing both. So I pray that all of you guys, as y'all are in this revolution, make sure that you are always understanding, you know, how important community is and how important it is for us to look out for one another. And then also just how important it is for you to forever be strategizing and figuring out how you can reach your best self, so that you could give, so that we can give our community our best self. So holla at me if you're interested in consulting anything. If you are interested in being involved with the Black Wall Street USA, what's goody? God bless y'all. And God bless, you know what, last thing, if you getting mistreated by a job, baby, Black people, stop thinking that you gotta stay. If you're getting disrespected by a job, stop thinking that you gotta still be there. That was one of the biggest things I had to learn in 2021, is that we do not. I watched my mother work a job. She's still there. 20 years later, she's dealt with all types of disrespect, discrimination, but she got 4 kids to take care of. What's she gonna do? Quit? So at the end of the day, that's what I thought for a year and a half working for the same company. Everybody's looking like, oh my gosh, girl, you got this good job. What's up? And inside, I'm like, if only if you knew. And so at the end of the day, I really do encourage any one of y'all and anybody in the workplace, wherever you are, if you feel like you're being disrespected, leave, because God will make a way for you, just like he did it for me, period.
Thank you. Well,
Thank you guys. Thank y'all.
thank you, Marquina. I think
Merci, Shay.
Oh, merci, Shay.
they doing some Haitian stuff over here. I don't know what they're doing, but they're doing some. I know him well enough. But we were getting close to our hour point, but the conversation will go on. But I do want to give the floor to my guest for the evening. Someone that I've known for
been a long time, bro.
Since Club Miami. I don't know if y'all been in Atlanta long enough to understand Club Miami. But we was in Club Miami babies, you know, we was underground babies. We was really party promotion. But he was one of the first people I saw branch out and start doing his own stuff. I remember when he started 21 Entertainment. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And You're just someone I really respect in business. We've partnered a lot of times to bring a lot of events, to do Working Women Wednesdays, to really empower Black women, things like that we really got to get back on. But the floor is yours, my brother.
Yo, nah, I mean, I really appreciate it, bro. I really like you've been doing. I don't think you get enough of your, your flowers. So, I'm gonna be here to let you know everything that you've done. When she talks about, revolutionary spirit, that is Scotty Smart. Facts. Period. Like I've watched this man cut his dreads off, grew them back in the streets, causing smart trouble, good trouble. And it just means a lot. I bet.
It's about for the projection of the crowd, though.
Oh, I mean,
this is for my audio for YouTube, but the audience wouldn't have. So you
want me to speak up?
You get right.
Does this work? Does work?
Yeah.
All right.
Both of.
But yeah. So yeah, Scotty, I want to make sure you get your flowers, man. And I've just seen you grow so much. And like you were real. Like we really need you. Feel what I'm saying? So I'm glad you're doing what you're doing. You really making change. And however I can support, I'm gonna make sure I do that. And that's really
man.
Really
but tell the people about Black is a Vibe, man, because that is taking off, and I've seen it everywhere. And I'm like, every time I see it, I'm really just proud. Like, hey, man, I know, bro. Like, that's my dog. You know what I'm saying? I see it everywhere. So how did that come about?
So Black is a Vibe started really quickly. Jeff and I, we really just wanted to start something that we can
family business. His brother,
my little brother Jeff. I wanted to start something really to push Haitian culture, Caribbean culture, African culture, because a lot of that, I can meet a Haitian person anywhere in the world, and we'll both have similar stories of how we grew up, because the culture doesn't really change. Everyone is pretty much just raised the same way. Jamaicans, Liberians, Nigerians, etc. So, but it came to a point where it was like I didn't feel it was inclusive enough. It was so I wanted to make it more inclusive, because there's people who see me and they don't see a Haitian person. They see a Black man. So I wanted to have something that describes what I feel Black is, and Black people. And we are the most resilient, the most creative, and the most versatile people on the planet. And that's not really up for debate.
Right.
So I wanted to come up with something that's like, yo, how does that, how can I, I'm like, man, it's just like a vibe, man. I was like, whoa, hold on, whoa. Black is a vibe. I was like, yeah, Black is a vibe. So after that, it was, here we are.
I thank you again, my brother. And the one thing, like I said, between himself, Miss Kim, we're just in the presence of a time where we're shifting, where we're growing, where we're understanding more about business, where we're taking ideas, where we're taking more risks. And that's what it is. It's about being fearless in the moment. It's about accepting responsibility and accountability of self to what you can do, putting that pressure on yourself, releasing yourself of that security blanket, which is your job sometimes. But what I'm saying is, don't quit your job, but spend some time after your job investing in yourself. Put that money back into starting your business to where you can say, well, how do I substitute this income to become an entrepreneur in X amount of times? It's a strategy. It's a routine. It's a thought process that we have to have. Like I said at the beginning, a lot of you missed that. But if we really focus on business, how we focus on entertainment and sports, we would be unstoppable. But the biggest thing I see, the most divisive thing I see within our culture is the individualism of wanting to compete with each other, wanting to not support each other. And if we could just recycle our dollars within our community. If you got a friend that owns a barbershop, you get another friend that owns a vending machine service, another friend that owns a nail salon, another friend that cuts grass. All of your resources of things are from your people in your circle. On April 19th, my birthday, I'm launching my website. Plug myself for a second.
Let's go.
It's called changecreativesmart.com, which is my Instagram tag. But when I launch that website, there'll be a tab on there called the Smart Business Network. And what that is a group of my friends who I know that do different things. So I have photographers on there. I have tattoo artists on there. I have people that do floors on there. I have my crew for the podcast on there. These are people within my network that are excellent at what they do. And that's how we grow within our circles. You know what I mean? That's how we grow within what we do. That's what I call smart trouble. It's not about being seen. It's about outthinking people. Right now, we're not thinking at our highest level. We're spending way too much time thinking about a bunch of nothing. We're spending way too much time talking about Derek Jackson and who he cheating on and what he got going on. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying you can't have your time of fun and entertainment. Because trust me, I drink my Hennessy, I smoke my weed, I visit the cheetah occasionally. You know what I'm saying? Those are my things. But I get my black ass up in the morning and I'm at the protest because I care about my community. Because I really want to be that person that normalizes what I do. I want more black men to feel like we got to show up. I want more black men to understand that we have other options. We have to be able to see the options. When you go to the bluff, a lot of times they're so quick to end up selling drugs or doing scams because that's the only option they see. You know, when we come in there, when me and Trouble, when he shoots a video in there and they see the cameras and the lights, and that opens their minds to other perspectives. So when people tell me about, well, maybe you should leave the hood. No, I'm not leaving the hood. Because that's where my family is. My grandma still stay in the projects. So until the hood has a mindset of understanding what they can really become, there's so much talent in our impoverished communities that isn't getting opportunities to be successful. And if we as the adults right now don't step up and give them opportunity, then what do? What legacy do we leave behind? I go so hard for what I want because I've been to so many funerals that I think about my legacy every day. I'm working to achieve something every day that can allow me to live forever. Because when I'm out of this motherfucker, I want y'all to be like, hey, bro, nah, bro was with that shit. Like, bro was really about that action. Like, regardless of when God calls me home, I want you to know what I stood for. And we all have to think about, you either die a regular nigga or you die a legend. Those are the only two options you got.
That's a fact.
But what are we working towards? What is your strategy to make an impact towards the next generation? So my crew's telling me we got to wrap it up, but we ain't done. I got a special guest performance. One of my brothers that I've known again from goddamn Club Miami days, man. It's a family reunion this motherfucker tonight. One of my favorite lyricists is here this evening. He goes by a pimp named Sweet Tooth. He's gonna give y'all a live performance. We're gonna have some drinks. We're gonna roll up a little bit, and we can continue the conversation. But I am gonna wrap up the camera crew, and we're gonna create some good content. I thank you guys for being here. And I appreciate you guys for engaging in this conversation. This is Convos Create Change.